Kayla Wright. I was wondering if there was a message from her father, Larry, concerning recent events, and I thought, well, we'll use these mediumship cards here for contacting Larry, and also with the content of the request there. I thought we'd try a bit of tarot and just ask your power animals as well, Kyla or Kayla. Let me see what the screen reader calls it.
Kayla Wright.
Oh, Kayla. It says Kayla. I'll call you Kayla then because the screen reader said so, not because I interpreted it as that. But naturally there's a bit of undesirable stuff going on here that doesn't fit unhealthy from a relationship point of view there. So I thought we'd ask first the tarot, and then these the power animals, and then we'll ask Larry to join us afterwards to see if he's well, not so much if, but what his message would be for this particular scenario. First of all, we'll shuffle the tarot. In this particular deck, it's the Crow's Magic Tarot by Londa Marks, and where Crow is king, of course, we ask for the truth on behalf of Kayla Wright concerning relationship issues, and we ask for guidance and insight in the name of truth, right conduct, peace, love and non-violence. Blessed be to the Crow, the carrier of souls from darkness into light. And then we just cut the deck like so for you there. I'll just pop that there where we just had it from. I'll get the power animals, the power animal deck here, of course energised by Raven. So we ask for guidance and insight on behalf of Kayla Wright concerning relationship issues, and we ask in the name of truth, right conduct, peace, love and non-violence. Blessed be to Raven and all the power animal spirits who guide, heal and protect. Peace, may you blessed be. And then we just cut that deck there. I'm going to leave the the mediumship cards, as you would say, just till just a bit later on. I'll just pop those over here on top of the box that came with it, as you would say, and we'll ask Larry to join us in just a moment. But first of all, we'll focus on what we've got here. I'll just place these power animal cards, power animal oracle cards, just pop them there, so they're just out of the way, as you would say, but enough out of the way just so you can see them, and then we can deal out some tarot energy to see what Crow has to say about what's recently been going on in your possession. And that's the first card. Where the deck splits is where, but all the decks split is where they are at the most strongest or energetic point, as you would say, and it'd be the same for Larry's cards when they turn up. I suppose you could call the mediumship cards conversation cards, couldn't you, in a way? It's a phrase book for the other side to use to the sentences, the pre-written sentences that are on each one of these cards will be shuffled, and as we shuffle them, Larry's spirit will manipulate them and place them in order to provide a message, maybe word for word, but usually we paraphrase the type of thing that's being said into some sort of legible thing that is relevant for the question that's been asked there. In this particular case, of course, the first card we deal from the tarot represents the recent past. This is a period of time between now and roughly this time last month. Just showing really what's been going on. Maybe if what you refer to has been going on for a long time, to some say it's irrelevant, but to some it's irrelevant in this particular case. The only thing that is relevant is what's been going on just recently. And then the next card we deal is the present, so that's of course the energy that's now, and then the energy that vibrates for your immediate future, you could say there, is we just place there. So I'll just pop them. We've just got a bit of a bit of wandering space there, so just pop them there, and then the power animal oracle cards can just probably we can probably just squeeze them and just hang them over the edge there, a bit precariously, but mostly on and off. I thought of various oracles we could use for this, but I thought we'll use these three instead of just the one. It seems to be a bit of a complex situation going on, and we seem to be getting a lot of responses in the Facebook group, the 100% free psychic readings group. There seems to be plenty of people who have enough to say on it, which, yes, as a lot refer to, you don't really need a bloody psychic to work out the obvious of what to do, but well, we'll just see, just, well, not for a giggle, but just certainly out of curiosity, whatever it was that killed the cat, I don't know, but just out of curiosity, we'll see what Spirit has to say about this situation, because Spirit is of course there with you and your husband right now. I'm just going to have to just do something. I'm just going to have to turn the central heating off. It's getting just a bit warm in here. We forecast rain, so because we've got clouds, overcast, it's warmed up a bit. It acts a bit like a blanket, doesn't it? Keeping the cold out, as you would say, mainly at night time. So let's investigate what's been going on here over the recent past, to see what energy has been vibrating, as if we could dare to guess. We'll just pull out the first card here. And this card represents the recent past, a period of time, whether the past 3 or 4 weeks or so. I usually refer to it about a moon phase, over the past moon phase, or what would be a moon phase, in the sense of about 28 days usually, isn't it? It takes the moon to do a full cycle, as you would say. Often, I suppose you could call it a moonth, couldn't you? Let's flip the card nice and slowly, and let's reveal its energy. You've got here the energy of the sun. The sun, of course, in the tarot deck represents a major arcana energy. It's one of the major arcana cards, isn't it? Also, it's got a Leo energy attached to it. There are two decks in the tarot, as you know, or maybe well aware. If you're not, then we'll just revise. The first 22 major arcana cards, and then the 56 minor arcana cards. I call them the elementals: fire, water, and earth. Swords, wands, cups, and coins, as you could call it, or pentacles, or whatever. In this particular case, with major arcana energies, you don't have much power to change things. You still have choices on how you deal or handle the situation, but it's more of a permanent thing, more of a permanent fixture. Whereas a minor arcana energy is, you do have the power to change it. But just over the recent past, between now and this time last month, you didn't really have much power to change things, regardless of what the situation was. It's just saying that. Also, with it being major, of course, that's pointing to the fact it's an important event, or an important part of the situation that you're in. If all of these were major arcana cards, then the whole situation would be important. But for now, before we reveal the other two, up to yet, as far as we know, the recent past was a very important time or period for this particular situation that you're in. The sun, in a lot of traditional tarot decks, often you have the sun above, then you have clouds, and sort of the 1JJ deck tends to put like clouds, as if it's in like although it's two clouds together, it looks like a figure of 8 on each side, the symbol of infinity, as if the light is above and clouded by imperfections or whatever it is. And then there's a couple, a boy and a girl, man and a woman, reading from a book, as if I always tend to think of though it's having to read from the book because they can't see the light, so they have to use the book and the knowledge that other people have well, those who've seen the light can read the book and catch up on basically what they can't see. But nevertheless, this is the Crow's Magic Tarot, Crow's Magic the deck here, and it certainly seems to indicate that there's something very powerful been going on. In general, if there was ever such a thing as general, the sun represents companionship, new friendships, even old friendships rekindled. It can indicate that, but given the situation that you find yourself in, and what you've mentioned there, clearly indicates, yes, very powerful energy, and also a genesis, maybe an opportunity for a new beginning in some light or other. They always say tomorrow's sunrise is the beginning of the rest of your life, don't they? And maybe that's the opportunity or the chance to start again was there over a month ago. Well, between now and this time last month, any time in that period, certainly you did have the opportunity to do something about it. The general school of thought seems to be get out. Although running away from the problem, of course, there's two choices with problems. You can run away from them, or you can stay and solve them. Are problems there to be solved, or are they there to just run away from? Sorry about that. That would determine on, of course, that would be determined upon on if it's solvable. If it's a sort of just a whimsical argument and somebody's mentioned something and offended you, and then it can all blow over. But of course it depends if it's been a long term. If it's been a sort of long term, it's demoralising situation you find yourself in. If it's a long term thing, then of course the power and the genesis was there for you to start again. But did you take that opportunity? I would say no. I would say no, although maybe there are those who would agree with me, or maybe people just might think I'm just talking out my backhand. But either way, I sort of got it from here as though there was an opportunity to start again, either with him or literally with you. What's most important, of course, is looking after number one. Most important. That's not selfish. That's self-preservation. And of course, if you aren't right within yourself, you can't help others, or you can't be helped by others. So there is a fine line to be drawn there, isn't there? I want to pull out the next card that represents what's going on now, the present. And I suppose this is the most important one of them all, isn't it, in some regards, because it's saying about what you can't really, as we say, we can't define ourselves by what we did then, or what we failed to do, and not that you're a failure, but what you failed to do or were prevented from doing then, the new beginning that you probably didn't take then, but certainly you can define yourself by what you're doing now. But what is going on now, and what's the vibration, what does Spirit, what does Crow say here about that? Strangely enough, we've got the Two of Swords. I say strangely enough because Crowley refers to the Two of Swords as the Lord of Peace. This particular energy, the Crow tends to refer to this as more to do with the symmetry, literally in that sense, harmony right now. Maybe the fact that you're okay about it with yourself, but more as well poise, in the sense of state of readiness. You're in a state of readiness. If you were to do something about it, whatever that was, whatever you choose to do, you always have a choice. It's your freedom to choose what you do. But whatever you do choose to do, or whatever you do from now, you are ready to do it. You are in a state of readiness, a state of poise. Maybe that's probably what the symmetry is as well. Maybe that's what the peace is. You're at peace with yourself, in the sense of, I suppose, I know that I'm not guilty of these things that they say I'm guilty of. I'm okay about me. They're the ones who aren't. They're the ones who aren't okay about me. And for as much as it upsets me and pisses me off, nevertheless, I've got nothing on my conscience. Yes, I suppose you've got the bullying and the oppression going on, which is a means of control anyway. It's just a means of controlling you and keeping you in your place for some reason or other, for whatever that agenda is. It's all about control at the end of the day, isn't it? I tend to think. That's got a Libran sort of, I suppose, with it being balanced, with it being a symmetry, Lord of Peace, at peace with oneself, of course. Two's company, three's a crowd, in the sense of at peace. Maybe right now you can be ready, in a state of poise or a state of readiness. You can be in that because of the situation. You can say, regardless of all the aggro, regardless of all the trouble that's taken place, just to repeat that in some sort of paraphrase, nevertheless, because of all the aggro, all the trouble that's taken place, I can nevertheless feel easy about it within myself. I know I'm not guilty of anything. I know if you know that you're in the right, it doesn't matter if others say you're in the wrong or not, because you know they're telling lies. If you know you're in the wrong and they're saying you're in the wrong and you're denying it, then of course you're lying to them and yourself. That's a different kettle of fish, isn't it? It could be the fact that you're just attention seeking and you just can't get it your own way, and you're just doing that. But we have to, of course, give the benefit of the doubt to any any situation here, regardless whoever it is who's trying to gain control of the situation or to gain control of the other. And of course you're going to get an element of bad mouthing anyway. Everybody's going to be bad mouthing one another to try and bring the other side down. It's part of, you get it in politics, sadly, don't you? Unfortunately, as we notice in the UK right now, we've got no democracy at the moment, and politicians are doing what they want and saying what they want. And in that sort of analogy, it's as if that's what's been going on in your relationship, for as much as that's what you seem to be implying. I'm going by what you were saying, and in that regard, that's probably what's created the new beginning, because there comes a breaking point where somebody says, let's start again. For as much as we've got things in the freezer, it's been in there for over 6 months, 9 months, let's clear it out. There might be some good stuff still frozen in there, but we empty it out and we clear it out and defrost the freezer or whatever it is. And sometimes you have to throw the good out with the bad in order to start again. We've got the good memories of why we're together anyway, but nevertheless, we sometimes have to throw that away and start again. There may be those who accuse you of not trying hard enough, but your conscience is clear in the sense of you're at peace. You're the one who's at peace, but you are in a state of readiness, regardless of the fact what should have taken place, or the new beginning that took place just recently. And maybe that's what it is. You're having problems adapting to the change that took place between now and this time last month. The change, the new beginning that you know you've got to accept, if that's to either stay, get out, or whatever your choice is. That you're in a state of readiness to do something that you should have done. That's what it seems to be implying, doesn't it? I want to pull out the next card to see what is vibrating just around the corner between now and the 16th of April, as you're supposed to give it a date, although it's just between now and the next few weeks or so, isn't it? Let's just flip this card over here. Remember, the present is a minor arcana energy, and also the immediate future is. There you've got the... You've got the King of Wands. That's got an Aries, Sagittarius and Leo feel, more, I suppose, control, isn't it? I suppose that's what it's all about, isn't it? In the sense you've got Leo there and a balancing out with Libra, and then back to Leo, Sagittarius and Aries. They are the control freaks, I suppose. I always call them the control freaks. Leo is the one that's trying to gain control. In order to gain control, you need a new beginning, to start again. In order to keep on top of what's in the freezer, you start again and defrost. It's a similar sort of thing. But now you've got power. Right now, of course, you've got power to change it, and you will have for the foreseeable future between now and this time next month. So although you didn't have much power to change things back then, nevertheless, the opportunity to do it was there. You could have chosen to start again, but you didn't. Maybe you felt helpless or whatever in the situation. Maybe somebody held the purse strings and you hadn't got the means to get out or remain, or whatever it was you wanted to do. But now, of course, your conscience is clear and you're in a state of readiness now to do whatever it is you feel you've got to do. Notice here the devotion that the King of Wands offers. Swords, right now, of course, swords is the element of air, isn't it? And of course the 2 is to do with air as well. Creative and transmissive powers. So it's all about communicating right now. Not so much with others, just with others, but more communicating with yourself. Crow was there carrying you through the darkness into the light, or through the fire into the quenching waters of emotion, maybe, that probably comes from that. But right now, of course, you're in a state of readiness. Readiness for what? Readiness to devote yourself, ready to dedicate yourself to something what? Fire. Wands is fire, so that's spiritual essence, isn't it? And the king, of course, represents fire. In the Crowley deck, it's the knight, and then the knight is the prince. But nevertheless, this is the fiery part of fire in that sense. Notice that we've got Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo. So the Sagittarius, I suppose, providing the mystical energy, the magical energy, and Aries and Leo are sort of bringing things under control. Maybe things were under control before the new beginning. In order to try and control things, a new beginning was called for. Sort of very powerful energy. Genesis, the energy of Genesis was there. Genesis vibrated just recently, but nevertheless, this state of readiness, this poise, the thing that you're poised to do, you're there now. That's what's most important about what's happening now. You're at peace with yourself in the sense, as we've established. Your conscience is clear, regardless of any darkness, oppression or whatever, which there is always darkness anyway there, but nevertheless you can go into the darkness, spread your wings and take the spiritual essence of that forward and devote yourself to it and dedicate yourself to whatever it is. I suppose if you look at it from a religious sort of point of view, recently they were trying to convert you and bring a new beginning in the way in what you believed. Now you're okay about it because you know what you believe is what you believe, regardless of whatever it is, and you'll be devoting yourself and praying to it more, or worshipping it more in some regard, or just basically getting off your arse and doing something about it, and committing yourself. I suppose you could call that commitment, really, couldn't you? In a sense, you'd be committing yourself to it between now and this time next month. So, of course, April is the new financial year as well. So maybe you could try and establish yourself from a financial point of view. Establish yourself financially as well, or start something there, because it all ends. If anything ends, which it looks as though there is an end, isn't there, really, to some degree, but nevertheless an end signifies a beginning as well. And maybe the beginning there, the Genesis there, symbolises the end of something for something else to begin, and it looks as though whatever this situation that you're in, something ended. Be that your marriage, or be that the relationship that you're in, of course, ended, but you're okay about it, and it's time to devote yourself, dedicate yourself to what is coming next. I want to now deal out these other the power animal cards that we just shuffled there, and I want to just see what we'll just pull out some cards here to see what was vibrating back then, in the sense, well, you got the hummingbird in this, just to sort of lighten up. I suppose your problem, of course, joy. There wasn't much joy in your life, and of course I was trying to focus on. It says joy and then lighten up, as if the problem and the answer to it. The part of your soul that's got lost in the void is that part that experiences joy. Joy isn't happiness, though, is it? Happiness is related to happenings, things that happen, and anybody can be happy to some degree, but joy is something beyond that, isn't it? A spiritual thing, and that's what you seem to lack. The new beginning brought an opportunity for that, maybe. I suppose if you connect that up to the sun, then we're talking about something. A new beginning came, but because you were lacking in the joy department, as you'd say. That part of you that experiences joy and is able to experience joy and get fulfillment was lost in the void. And it's up to Hummingbird you pray to Hummingbird to go into the void and retrieve, literally soul retrieve that part of your soul again that is able to lighten up and say, well, not so much don't take things too seriously, but just lighten up a bit. You could be dead, it could be worse, you know. And maybe that's the message from the recent past. But of course right now, the energy of Coyote, okay, yes, that's the wise fool, isn't it? The wise fool, I suppose it's admitting that we've dropped a clanger, regardless of feeling okay, I know I'm in the right, but I'm a wise fool. And in what way are you a wise fool? Accept your mistakes and find the learning in them. Just accept your follies and find the teaching that they offer. And I suppose really, okay, I was a fool for hanging on and staying there and letting that person do it to me. As we've sort of focused on before, the more you wallow in it, or not wallow, but the more you remember it or think about it of what they have done to you, the more they're doing it to you again. They're having another opportunity, another stab at it, and the more it upsets you and gets at you, the more they're doing it again. And should you allow themselves to do that, or is that where the wise fool is there? Well, accept me follies, that I was stupid enough to believe it. And that part of you that's able to sort of find the teaching and things also is missing, because I suppose when you're in a state of irrational, in an irrational state, you do sort of tend to, logic goes out the window, doesn't it really, to some degree. But it's as if that you've lost the ability to feel fulfilled, and also the ability to even learn from a situation, and all you can do is literally, all you could have done was just, instead of lightening up, just bottling it up, and right now just finding, not finding the teaching in it, but trying to justify it where you can't, or trying to wonder what the bloody hell's going on and why it's happening, instead of focusing on the faults, their faults and what they are doing. It's getting at you. By doing that, it's getting at you, and they're doing it to you all the more. When you should be really saying, what are you doing to yourself? What am I doing to myself? By allowing them to do that. Maybe the teaching in that is to just not let the bastards grind me down and tell them where to go, basically. Go forth into the distance and put your fingers where a monkey puts its nuts. Although actually monkeys don't put the nuts up their arse, so that's a bit of a fallacy. But laughing and joking apart, what's the immediate future? What's the guidance? Although we know what the guidance for now is, so it's praying to Hummingbird and Coyote to somehow help you lighten up, and of course find the teaching in what I suppose has happened as well as what's going on. There's an interesting development there. Dragonfly. Notice there that's to do with illusion. And it just says you know who you really are, doesn't it? That's what it says. And the key words to lighten up and of course right now, of course, recently to lighten up. And I suppose the key word for now is the key phrase then is accept your follies. Lighten up. You should have lightened up, but now you should accept your follies, and because you know. Just says you know, and then who you really are and small. As if those are the key, that's the key sort of phrase coming from that. Lighten up, accept your follies, because you know. not just you know who you really are, because you do know who you really are. You're not who they say you are, but you know who you are, but you know as well, don't you? Lighten up, accept your follies, you know. You know the truth. They'll just peddle lies deliberately to bring you down, demoralise you, to subvert whatever is left of the situation. But it's up to you. You are the one who knows. You've got the knowledge. And the illusion, I suppose, is the fact that it's a bit like when a magician does a trick and sleight of hand and it's disappeared, but it isn't. It's in the other hand, or it's up his sleeve, or wherever. And the illusion is, I wouldn't go as far as saying delusion, but in the sense that beware of delusion. But you'll find that there is illusion. You'll discover that it has been an illusion, really. Later on, you'll discover that it is all an illusion. It's just it's just a means to divert you from the truth. But you know the truth. You know who you are. They might try and literally trick you into thinking that you believe them. You believe them, and the more they get on at you, and the more they bully you, and the more they harass and alarm and distress you, the more they are doing it to you again, and the more you cry about it and think about it, they're doing it to you again, and the more you go on about suicidal thoughts, they're doing it to you again. They've won. They've won. And at the end of the day, should you allow them to do that, when you bear in mind the fact, if you notice the link there with you've got nothing on your conscience or nothing to feel guilty about, I suppose, to some degree, you've got nothing on your conscience there, with the new beginning of the sun and the Two of Swords there offering you some sort of in a state of readiness. A state of readiness maybe to accept your follies and say, yeah, okay, I was stupid enough to believe it, but I know who I really am, I know the bloody truth, and it is all an illusion, and then maybe you're the one who's doing the trick on yourself by believing it. But by praying to Dragonfly will take that part of yourself that is an illusion and reunite you with the truth. So you can acknowledge what is an illusion and what isn't, so you can recognise the truth from the lies. And of course, praying to all three, Hummingbird to help you not bottle it up, and of course Coyote to just help you, yes, say, okay, hold my hand up, I dropped a clanger, I believed every fucking word they said, but I know who I am. I don't need them to tell me who I am or what I am. I know the truth about who I am and what I am. I don't need them or anybody to tell me about who I am. If I don't know who I am, then who the bloody hell does? You know, this is really what it's down to, isn't it? I want to move on now to we're going to invite Larry, your father there, into this setting and to see what he has to say. So I'll just place, just for now, till we clear the cards there. I can do that in my own time, of course. I'll just place the power animal cards there, and then we'll just gather up the tarot, and then we'll just place those underneath, and we can clear those later, can't we? I suppose in my own time I can just clear before we just do like a shuffle for the invisible man or whatever, in the sense, a bit like doing the washing up, isn't it? Although you wash up, you know, the dishes are going to get dirty again, but nevertheless you have to do an in-between shuffle to just clear the energies. But that's down really for my side. Let me worry about that. But we're going to use these mediumship cards here, and as we shuffle we just simply say, Spirit of Larry, we ask for your presence. Commune with us, Larry, through these cards and move among us. Spirit of Larry, we ask for your presence. Commune with us, Larry, through these cards and move among us. Spirit of Larry, we ask for your presence. Commune with us, Larry, through these cards and move among us. Blessed be to Larry and all absent friends. And where the deck splits, as we have established before, is where it's at its most energetic point. I'll just pop them there next to the others, and then we're going to deal out initially three cards. First of all, though, I want to just thank you, Larry, for joining us. I want to thank you for your presence. I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for your energy and for joining us just at this time for Kayla. Or Kyla. Either way, I wanted to thank you there, Larry, for your time and energy, and also the love for the message that you've brought for her. From you, I suppose. This is from you, isn't it? I initially draw three cards. In the sense, each card has a pre-written sentence on it, so you could say beginning, middle and end of the message, couldn't you? Really. To some degree. But then if any others, if we feel as though we want to draw another card, maybe, it usually does happen, then we do. But initially, let's just see what the first thing Larry wants to say to you there, Kyla, and I think you probably may know this already. He's just saying to you there, Kayla, he's just saying that I have become one of your guides. That's an interesting thing, isn't it? Given all that's been going on, you were saying about how you wanted to be back in your daddy's arms and all this sort of thing, and how you wanted to be with him, and that's all you want out of this. I think you may be a bit closer to call than that. Maybe you don't have to jump off a cliff after all. I think he's a bit closer than you think. That's what he seems to be implying, isn't it, Larry? That you've become one of her guides. So I suppose put the rope away. But laughing and joking apart, it's not really a sort of laughing matter when somebody is driven to doing that. I mean, as I've said about before, with the government in the UK, the government has the power to drive vulnerable people to suicide. In that sense, when they feel as if there's no hope, there's no point in going on anymore. But there's always hope, really. It's just an illusion, isn't it, Kayla? There, I think the dragonfly has let you know about that. Raven, of course, has let you. Has spoken to you there about that one. But of course, Larry here is just saying he's become one of your guides as well. So it's not just hummingbird, coyote, and dragonfly who are your guides or your power animal totems. It looks as though Larry is there too. He's become one of your guides. So nice to know that, Larry. Nice for you to just inform us of that one. Not that it's of any surprise, of course. Really, is it? Let's we'll draw the next card. We'll just flip it nice and slowly there, not to disturb its energy. And then we'll just see what else Larry has to say. He's become one of your guides, and he's just saying that I have no more earthly worries. I don't know if that's because now I've become one of your guides, I've no more earthly worries, or he's just saying I have no more earthly worries, and neither should you have. As if he's saying that. I have no more earthly worries, and neither should you. They're earthly worries, all said and done, aren't they? And they're not. We're all mortals, and just like as we are mortal, then our worries or anything that happens to us are mortal as well, because they're of the earth, aren't they? But I'm a spirit, and I'm your spirit guide, Kyla, and I just want to tell you that I've got no more earthly worries. Although I'm assuming, me personally, I'm assuming that he's saying, and neither should you have. I suppose in a way, hello. There is a hint going on there, isn't there? I want to just see what the third thing Larry has to say in connection with this. We'll just flip the next card here, and just see what that is. Nice and slow, not to disturb the energy as before. And he's just saying, I see all of your thoughts, Kayla. I've become one of your guides, and I've no earthly worries. I've no more earthly worries. But I want to know you. I see all of your thoughts, and I know that what you're thinking of is unhealthy. And although I've no more earthly worries anymore, it doesn't mean I've got no spiritual ones. That's why probably I've become one of your guides. I don't know, but I've got a sort of sense that he's saying that's why I've become one of your guides, because I don't want anything happening to you whilst you're there. Whilst you're there, you use your time up and value it whilst you're on that side, until you end up on this side with me, when we can be together again. But until then, in the interim, I see all of your thoughts. So remember, when you're thinking of ending it, or when you're thinking that there's no more, there's nothing else you can do, remember, I can see that, I can hear you thinking that. What do you think I would say to you if I was there in the physical? If you'd have said to me about that, what would I have said to you? You know what I would have said, don't you? And maybe this is the spirit guide thing, in the sense that's what his spirit is saying to you now. That you don't have to let the bastards grind you down, as I sort of put it. You have a choice. Accept your follies. Accept what you know. What you've done. You've got nothing on your conscience, as Crow, the spirit Crow says. You've got nothing on your conscience to worry about in that sense. But nevertheless, just accept your follies. Accept the wrong that you've done, not so much to them, but the wrong that you're doing to yourself by allowing them to get at you. And I've no more earthly worries, but I know that you do. But I see all of your thoughts, and that troubles me. I want to pull another card. I sort of sense as though I see all of your thoughts, and as if there's an and bit coming. I don't know what that is. I just feel like one more card wants to come out here. Two. I've just heard two. This is an interesting, I suppose, card. He's just saying there's no time where I am. Time is only on the earth. So use that time wisely while you've got it. Time is a thing like space or an object. You have to think of time as an actual thing that runs together with the three dimensions. It's the fourth dimension, isn't it? And then of course, when we move on to spirit, there's no need for it anymore. And that's pretty well, there's a rose in the hourglass, but that rose is if he's saying, I love you, Kyla, and although there's no time where I am, there is where you are. And I see all of your thoughts and pick them up like a radio, I suppose, really. But do you see what I'm trying to say? Where I suppose time in a position where time is of the essence, time won't be of the essence if you do what you say you're going to do. And then you won't be able to get justice. It's about justice at the end of the day. Why I'm thinking that, I don't know. I'm pulling the next card, the second one, that I sort of felt in a voice to pull there. And this is just sort of saying there is no such thing as death, and that's why. Because there's no time where I am doesn't mean I'm dead. It just means there's no time where I am. A bit like where you are, there might be a lake with boats on it, and a little cottage up the corner, a little path leading up to a gift shop. But where I am, there isn't. Basically, it's a similar thing. It's all built up, or there's just an Iranian embassy or something like that. Laughing and joking about it, in the sense of because it's a different landscape to where you are from where you are to where I am, doesn't make anything, doesn't change anything. It doesn't change anything. There's no such thing as death. If you do what you say you're going to do, then of course you're not dead. You're just going to move on to somewhere else and maybe wish you'd stayed behind to put it right. And that's what he's sort of saying here. I've become one of your guides for a reason. I've become one of your guides to guide you in the here and now. I've not become one of your guides so you can waste it all and end up with me. There'll be a time for that later, when time runs out or when spirit dictates. But until then, of course, what goes around must come around, and it's up to you to seek justice and put right the wrongs that are going on. And you're not going to do that by doing what you say you're going to do. You shouldn't let the bastards grind you down. At this point, I sort of feel another card coming out. I don't know why. I just feel like another, as if he wants me to just pull out. He's leaning off the edge, look. It's ever bloody likely. Let's just see what there's no such thing as death. I want to see what else he's just got to finally say here, and then we'll say farewell on that score. I've got something to leave on there. He's just saying we have been together in dreams. You've dreamt about me, and that's probably why, of course, you think about me a lot. But of course, dreams are not just recollection of past experiences. That's how the mind communicates with spirit. It's the mind that sees. When you're dreaming, you're not experiencing anything physical. It's the mind that sees. And even your eyes don't see. They're just lenses for the mind to use to perceive the physical world. So the mind will also perceive the spiritual world in the same sort of similar sort of way. And there's no such thing as death. There is no such thing as death. I want you to know that, Kayla, and I want you to know that. I want to know that I've been with you. We've been together in dreams, and I can speak to you through a dream, just like how you can have your power animal spirits will come to you in dreams. I will come too. And when you've seen me in a dream, what was I saying to you? As if he's saying, no, what did I say to you when the last time we spoke in a dream, Kayla? What did I say to you? I want you to remember that. As if he's saying that. I don't know what that is though, but that's between you and your dad, isn't it? And with that, I want to thank you, Larry, for joining us, and I suppose for sharing this intimate moment, really, in a way, because that's what it is. It's about sharing, isn't it? And with that, we're going to, just like we did with the others, we're going to just gather the cards, all of your cards together there, Larry. And just out of respect for spirit, out of respect for Larry's spirit, we'll just put them upside down, just there. And I want to just thank you, Larry, for your presence. I want to thank you for your time, for your energy, and for the love, the message that you've brought. And that love is the law, love is the bond. Merry did we meet, merry do we part. And Larry, merry may we meet again. And we just place the rest of the deck on top of Larry's message. We lay Larry to rest, and we say, for now, blessed be to Larry and all absent friends. For now, we cast a shadow. For these cards have spoken.